Yes.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, I know some of this stuff might come up later, but are you starting or no?
I was wondering, I mean, we have to listen to everything. Can we talk about everything?
No, I'd say we'll deal with. Yep, the vid.
Speeding.
They come down off there.
Oh yeah, you hear it. You hear the. You hear.
Depending on what actions. That would have been White Oak. They're still waiting to bring that.
I mean, they've done some of the grading. I think the issue they have to reseed, but doesn't do
That's part of every. And do that, everybody just needs to kind of go.
That's basically.
Yeah, because we're not setting.
Contract, we get ready to take that.
stations that we use. We have a spring seeding. Then we can't.
You maybe inspired them to get out and do. In the fall would be better. We could keep the weeds up and have them instead of being.
Absolute is the one who's doing the work.
Okay.
But, yeah,
Dirt that they brought back, we had black dirt.
Bob's on that. I'm hoping that, once is to stop them at, right by road. Roundabout there, but nothing I can do right now.
I was standing. He saw me.
Yeah, I
Decided
we have the same sort of issues. The
Just public forum is really the time for public action, discussion by city council. So
Okay.
comments be
Yeah.
at the front of the meeting.
We don't have parking.
My big question. Is, so we'd like to do a remodel.
Joe, do you want to address that?
How's that?
Trying to remodel, do work, you gonna ticket them?
Further down on Sycamore, they have home health care that comes.
On the street, and it's no parking, so I'm not gonna get a ticket.
Now,
I know we have the lawyer or the lawyer. Everything will be fine, but I would like to have something. So that we don't have Joe.
Cole, is there,
If you put a no parking on our side of the street, we have only our drive. Park in front of our houses from one.
so
If we need to.
so bring it up to City Hall, let us know. Yeah. There's a legit reason for a short amount of time.
And that's where we can just come in and say, hey, we have, so. Okay. Okay.
I hope it's not that drastic, Steve. We don't have probably a system in place for a temporary,
You have an active construction project for temporary parking to be best on your street to be able to accommodate, and you have a temporary parking, something like that.
okay.
There's no ordinance to consider. I know this on what we want to do with for, I guess, for that reason tonight is perspective, and also we're hearing from it's not going to be something where there can be consent. So for that reason tonight, just
If I could add just a bit. I think waiting until school starts. But
whatever. Right.
Is what is enforced. So it's says what's law is what should be enforced. If you're wanting to have some flexibility, whether it be hours of parking, but unless your laws
And no hard. Somebody's going to move, and then somebody else. The hard in a couple of years, so.
Time. You have 3 readings in it.
Park in front of our house. Park in front of our house. Passed on 3 readings, which is fine.
Yeah.
We have what we have, I would just like to have some.
Right. You want to get rid of the ambiguity. Shouldn't be any ambiguity. What's in the ordinance should be.
Then everybody should be happy.
Well, right now, from there, see if they want to do.
That I know, just up here on the north. The south of our. Have any input or what?
We're all in favor 100%.
People from parking in their yards.
The school's going to bring increased.
Okay.
Couple things tonight. Or something like that. Sycamore Street, we have placement of riprap, so that would be on the west. Track, and we're only using about less than half of there isn't as much. This is just paying them for what was done. Went up day before yesterday, so I would anticipate that they'll get back in. Nice rains and temperatures that cool down a little bit. gets them really hot. We can get enough moisture to germinate it and it'll get a little dry. Temperatures and frequent rains, not belly washers.
Right.
Exactly what we need. So,
You guys got any questions on that?
Because it's excessive. Rock.
what happens is that
So we need to make sure we
what
get,
happens is the rocks all come to the surface. They don't germinate, but they do seed.
Yep. Anybody else got questions on payment?
Project in the amount of $4,571.37 to Sternquist Construction.
Cheetah.
yes.
Moving on to the side. $14. They've been working very hard out there with the structure. Everything they can to place the underground pipings in, the structures are in. There will be there shortly. The controls, the electric. The light pump and that light pump is the best pump, but they're also the time. Just to give you an example, I was in Pella today. There's a lift station. Last week.
Is it?
So it just, it could have been in a crunch with work. We're okay, but just be prepared that we're going to be so.
Then that's,
Doesn't impact
Okay.
anything. Pumps, they package it with a control panel. You go to different pumps, get the equipment there. Fortunate, but I think we're just going to have to wait it out. The third and hopefully the last civilian shop is got Monday. Deal with that is Mid-American Energy, you got to get power to it. Over a year. Goes down, serves a lift station, also provides basic moving forward, we're not moving forward. We kind of go through these. Finally got the proposal from the American. We knew there was going to be a cost from the beginning. They don't really have a choice. They can't really give it to us. There are power they use in the first 12 months. Other customers that come along within the first 10 years. power anything in Beaver Creek Estates that uses this.
So it's a 10-year refund?
Yeah,
Percentage of
second
it?
part of the usage, but we're not likely to have much usage, so
Right.
we won't get much back on
Talking like third?
I would say a third to a half.
Okay.
And then if they
Okay.
can't,
Five of that back
yeah,
over the 10 years, you said?
yeah, it's a big calculation. Basis and you get a refund check.
Okay.
We're doing this in conjunction with them. Will they not have to pay?
It could be, that's why we were. And so I figured it's something I can't. Phase, they're on a single phase, so more. 122.06. No matter what, had they decided to commit.
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
But I didn't want to delay this. Forward now, maybe, hopefully. Southwest City and Southwest Iowa is putting 2 new wells in. To about $600,000 well project is going to be over.
Gonna hold anything back if they wait another month to see what Beaver Creek.
You guys care if we get it, if we need it over the.
Would you anticipate that this would be paid out of the southeast?
Like all the other project costs, we would.
All that?
Same way you would pay for. Roll into the finance it, and then where all the debt service is being paid out of the tax increment revenue.
Okay. You guys,
So still got other projects we got to do, so once we get the final.
Truthfully, I'm still piecing together all of the like I said, I'm still working through all of the
Sure.
urban rural area and the required infrastructure for Beaver Creek Estates, as well piecing all together just to make sure that we have the funding pieces. So I would be okay if, you know, have have the funding with the Southeast Urban Renewal Area to cover it.
Okay.
Culvert.
The road.
Sure, yep.
Which we estimate the project cost is easily covered by the they're all coming out of the same bucket. So
Same fund, yeah.
it's the property tax down. All of the debt service on these improvements and the legal stuff. Working on last several months.
Okay, good.
Make a motion to approve $13.14 to Hildreth.
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
On this next one, Cole's basically said that, you know, looking
Out this plus with what our remaining years are on the Boulevard area that is a part of the Southeast Urban Renewal Area that even when you take off the allocated to something like this. So yeah, the 74,000.
We good? Electric service extension proposal in the amount of $74,172.
Bermal?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
We have partial payment estimate number 2, the amount of $304,256.14. Done, tested, passed the bacteriological test. So odds and ends that need to finish up with the basic water. Mentioned last month that we had that blow off after the rain. Twins to plat 3 showed the out and extend the pipe. And so in doing is actually less than the cost of the 2 valves. So what we ended up doing is adding valves. So I think it worked out very reasonable on their cost for that. So I mean,
oh, 4.
But I will give them credit, they were very
Good.
as far as the only change we're going to have, yeah, we're actually, the water main was under the budget. So we're still good shape on that one.
Okay. Anybody got questions on that?
Change order number 1 as approved approved on here, and we haven't considered that yet.
I was told it
Okay.
number two before you do go into the plan.
Okay.
Without the change order for the first one.
Oh, this one was added into it, gotcha.
Change order number 1 for Highway 141 water main extension project in the amount
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Cheechak.
Yes.
water main extension project in the amount of $304,000.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Cheechak.
Yes.
September, start the bidding, the third part. Across the Myers property over to the West Street.
Yep.
Plan to bring that back. That will lock in. Ashley's project, they've gotten in the in case of the done.
Sure, I've heard from a few people that live down that. I don't know if
A drainage swell along the side.
yeah, and I'm standing back there is not getting all the way to the pond. It's not draining out of there. I don't know if you've push something off before, once you accept it, you're just like every other project, you're stuck eating it. I got pictures right here that can,
All of our properties.
perfect. There's a 4-year.
There's
It's 4-year maintenance.
Okay.
I met out there with them a month ago. I'll take a zip line there when I leave tonight. So
Okay.
Christie, can you verify if they've paid the water and sewer fees?
Yes.
Okay.
And then that would be one of the final invoices. We'd send that for them. Signature, so it'll be recorded.
Yeah, and if we want to and you have to release it so they can record it. Get out there and give us
Dragging our
give us
feet.
an acknowledgement they're going to do something. You can approve it, we can sit on it administratively until we, not. That way we don't have to wait a month, but yet, until it comes out of the cold.
Pending positive drainage along southern ditch or something along.
I would just make a motion that the storm sewer improvements have been constructed appropriately.
We're not going to. Even if you don't, we won't release it until we get absolute, answer to it.
approving final plat of Ironwood Estates, Plat 5.
Second.
Okay, Shia?
Yes.
Two items are going to kind of maybe a little. The IDOT about and about what they had said. That the mayor of New York had a misunderstanding. Kind of a weird misunderstanding. The paving that we agreed to. A traffic study. Traffic
From
From
the
the corner, yeah.
100-foot?
So- Put some dust control on that.
Yep.
He also said that he put the right of way. So I sent him the document. But it does appear Wade Grinding from Snyder actual interchange price. South. The reason for that qualify for what's called a categorical exclusion. So last month, on the environmental assessment, it was down to about 100 from 300. Any different than any other interchange. It has some cost in it, but the construction cost of it, they're the improvements on the interstate, they're not charging urban day. Or function and say, they should pay for it. And something we know comes out really quick. So we're kind of hopeful that if they bite into this, and we're still probably enough. If it goes forward, not a commitment. We still would have to deal with the street down that we go. About, they want to develop, they're process for either the city or city and or the property owner to develop. We're meeting with the city. And fine. So I thought if this
Maybe.
Okay, it's up to you.
I'll let you know.
Working directly with the staff, or signers to try to get. Phase one, which is the piece that's the so we'd like to get the development agreement. And so that's something we probably need to figure out what. Certain things we haven't agreed to. So I did. Sheets that had been proposed. There's a couple of things that are outstanding. One is they have built in housing funds for our culvert. How do they develop? There's enough revenue that comes off of that. Money for rebate back to them if you decide to do that. And we never can. After it's back.
Yeah.
And their money would enough houses in there. Percentage of that. We still didn't have to figure out how we pieces. That had kind of come to a screeching halt earlier this year.
We got more questions for Bob?
We just have to figure out what.
In the context of the meeting with IDOT, who's going to be,
And try to have a big one, or what we're gonna do?
Yeah. Meetings with the DOT. Representatives of the city at the most.
okay,
Typically, the DOT has 5 or 6. You don't want it too big, but you don't want it too small. Because if you're they feel like they've got people with power, so you want to kind of have a balance. It's been generally 4 and 3. It seems to be about the right balance.
Anybody?
We probably negotiate, and I would guess in terms of development, we'll probably
Want to get going, so, awesome.
all right.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
So the first item we have is a Chapter 165, Section 15, and this is our some changes to our zoning amendment process. Part of this process, but it's with the Planning and Zoning Commission. I will say, in front of the City Council. Ultimately, that's who you're question or disagreement with the amendment being considered. Because if you have it with planning and zoning, there's a chance that moving the hearing to city council rather than planning and zoning commission. Currently require a 15-day public hearing notice. What you'll see with most cities, but this is most, I guess, sooner than the at minimum 7 days, but since we meet on a monthly basis, $15-day public hearing. And zoning commission, which because they kind of meet on an as-needed basis. And once you have quorum defined for that meeting date, you also publication. It's a lot of moving. Public hearing notice would make this so it's a little. Let's see here. Ben, did
A lot of what we had talked about. I see in the heading in the amendment, it says 165. It's 165.15 that talks about amendments, and I think this will just make weekly, you have to get it in.
and with quorum, it ends up you're planning these here. Just a little tedious here. My recommendation. Waive the requirements of Iowa Code and put it up for adoption consideration immediately. In effect, it's an administrative make our process a lot easier.
And we have some things coming up. Looking forward to this month.
The readings first and then
No,
the
you
passion.
haven't.
You're
Past
still.
the passed by a higher majority.
And then that's what puts it in. Okay.
Then you could do your waiving 3-3.
Yep. All right. Relating to the zoning districts and public hearing requirements, first reading.
Second.
Third reading.
Second.
Paul,
Yes.
Trapp,
Yes.
Bernal,
Yes.
Voss.
Next month, a couple public hearings on some item, I have 5B here, discussion of sale. Quickly referred to as the kidney bean shaped lot that we have on Sturgeon Enterprises, and for someone to develop this, there's some pretty 8,000 cubic yards of fill dirt. That would be required there. It's going to be very difficult. We'd have to go to get a variance for this. You know, being able to work with whoever property other than the times. Really have no value to be occupied on here. You know, not, I guess, do kind of a 26-acre park. And then we'd be able to bring that to grade, and then we also would just get scenario, no money out of hand for all that. So, do you guys property? Do you think we should sell?
Lot north of Barn on the right. Driveway pieces north. Different situation, so I think it'd be a good expense until we actually sell it. Would be good also.
Hearing on the sale of property just to make sure. Determine, you know, what are we looking to list? A realtor, we do it ourselves. We get that quote first so that we can at least use that as I think there's the market value for this isn't necessarily get a quote for it. That's just gravy for us to Beacon has it at.
It was donated by the Sturgeons.
With any developers?
Not on this, no. opportunity. Grading needs work. It's just, I think putting any money out of pocket here and getting into, because I was looking, this is part of the unit development master plan is where that zoning classification would be listed. And trying to figure out where everything's at, but I know of its existence and for this area, but we'll have to
variances we would have to give, or where we would have to be flexible to make it.
that zoning classification, tell you and then we'll be able to show you this is the actual area. I don't know if have you worked with Bob on that.
And that fill dirt that you're talking about, we're gonna
do that anyways, so it's, if we can, you know, get some of that grading covered by this, it's a win on both ends.
I would like to say during this, since if this would go full circle, I think any proceeds from the sale of that property needs to be in writing that it's allocated to the 26 acres.
allocate it to what? 26
To the
acres?
26 acres.
Oh, okay.
That way it doesn't just get, you know, say there's
Yeah.
100 grand and every bucket gets $10,000 and you're pissing in the wind. Throw a chunk of money in something, make a statement, be done. That's my only.
That's where I was thinking.
Yep.
And then are you able to get an estimate on how much it cost us to take that dirt from 26 to over there then?
Yeah, that would be a part of that quote. It would
Okay.
be grading and moving that dirt, so. There's no action to be on this tonight, but more of an information discussion. Just want to make sure that you guys were on board with this plan, and that we could start with. I'll have to look at the schedule to see if we'll be doing a public next council meeting, or if, I guess next step is just get that quote, so I'll keep you guys in the loop on where that ends up, so. If there, across the board, any other creative ideas for ways we could approach, you know, problems that we have, I'm all ears for them. I think this is a great one, so, but, all right. Next item, 5C, discussion on Granger Fall Fest. Had some questions from some members of the city council here, just kind of wanted to know what's going on with it, what's the plan. Truthfully, there's not really anything for city council to approve, just because it's, you know, Clint, you've been heading this up with a group of volunteers and are getting people to, you know, volunteer to be a part of it and sponsor it, so there's no money out of city pocket to put on this event. Insurance would be covered. Fireworks or things that would require additional, I guess, insurance policies for a special event. But I guess I wanted to kind of open up for conversation if there was specific questions on about the event, just so, you know, we're all on the same page and we can all support it.
What's the date again?
October 17th.
I knew that.
I did have one question from a member of the public. I didn't know the answer. I didn't even know this was a thing when they brought it to me, so I went out here to the Facebook page. Great.
On today's, because I really want to focus on Granger Days. That's a great event, and I really enjoy that. So it's kind of been a I love fishing, and we've always talked about a fall thing. And I had planted pumpkins next to my house, and the next thing I know, I'm planting a lot of games, a lot of prizes for kids. Got a lot of people stepping up so far. Hopefully, going to get some businesses once we get through Granger Days to sit and spend time with the games. They're going to be pretty simple. Silverport Hours kids could run them. I mean, my 13-year-old could run. Passing of the torch. I kind of remember that growing up. The older kids worked with the younger kids. Yeah, it should be a great time, and just fuel donation, and the money is going to go towards just nonprofits, you know. Because they give so much, they supply all those boxes, thousands of dollars for that food. So I know that they could use some of that, and then some just to make it bigger and better the next year. So like I said, this is ever evolving. It went from, my committee kind of gets a little carried away with some of the stuff as far as, you know, what they want to do. I'm a very, keep it simple, and if businesses want to make an event more grand than what it already is set up to be, that's great. I just want everybody to get together and have a good time.
Glenn, my only point of caution on that, sure that we have a public purpose statement resolution with that, just to make sure that, you know, come audit time.
I think we have a committee. There'll be a 3-headed committee that 2 out of 3 have to vote to.
I think
On city property.
How we're going to earmark, like we talked about earmarking it.
Yes, if it's a city event, we've had this discussion before of it's not really the city's position to donate to charities.
Okay.
Unless there's a public purpose that benefits.
Okay.
But if it's not a city,
it's a community event.
It's a community event.
Go for it.
Put on my volunteers, and
that's what it is.
The city agrees that they can use some city property.
Perfect.
The
No
volunteer
problem.
hat, figure that out before you get too far down the path.
Okay.
But if it's a volunteer
Yep.
thing, the city's just supporting being done.
Yep.
Where are the pumpkins planted and who planted the pumpkins? Can I
None
have
of the business and me.
That's awesome.
It's at Jared's farm over in Woodward.
No, he's just trying to take away from a startup business.
Yeah.
Right?
My kids are gonna go starving now, so he's giving away pumpkins and I'm trying to sell
I mean,
them.
ultimately, really the point of caution is those donations. If it's a, you know, community, you know, organizers, volunteers, put this together, that's fine. We just let you use. Would cover for just our normal parkings anyways, so it's
Perfect.
wouldn't be an issue.
Awesome.
Clear?
Businesses can write off for marketing or whatever.
Mhm.
Don't tell anybody that it's tax deductible if they donate to you.
I'm not
Don't do
saying
that
a word.
anyways. Tell them to figure it out
Right.
themselves. But yeah, I think.
I like it.
My last item for you guys on my report tonight, item 5D, discussion on city administration. I think most of you guys would have seen my 30, 60, 90 plan is what, actually when I applied for the position, I ran through you guys what my approach would be. And I guess I will say, so far, just as an update, I have met with each one of you. It was really reaffirming to me that the observations that I've made in my first, 3 weeks very similar priorities. I think that's really helpful to know what kind of heads, as well as our appointments such as city attorney, city engineer. So those were, some of the big out to, and have met with Gita. I've, as of this morning, have met with or it's a lot of words, a lot of big acronym. Let's see, and I also met with yeah, I mean, it's gone by quick so far, but I think just really putting a emphasis I guess the follow-up part of this is providing you with kind of a list of observations and recommendations that I have so far that I'd like to go through with you guys. I've completed an in-depth tour of all of our city facilities along with the appropriate middle of my, I guess, call my comprehensive review of our financials, looking at our budget. I'm doing a urban renewal reconciliation. Are going to be, sorry, not getting my best brain here. So that's something in the middle of right now. Some of these code amendment recommendations are, coming from my and then other than that, I think I wanted to go over like that operating or like call them higher level things I think we should be addressing. I've chunked this out into a few different categories, those being finance, general so just to go through these, I have them by priority, and then as well as what the time and money commitment would be for these things. And then I've also put a description of what this item is and some examples if there's anything that's relevant there. One of the things that I guess was apparent to me before I started just looking through our audit reports that we have and then our financials, we need to look at addressing negative fund balances in our general fund. In total, we are in a deficit because our total, I guess, cash on hand across all funds is positive, but I think we need to look at making sure that we can address those and get those fund balances repaired. Is establishing fund reserve targets. So having some targets and goals that we are, I guess, in addition, is just make sure that we have a bit more financial flexibility and strength there. Some general operation items include scheduled fees. So this is taking a consolidated into one public-facing document or spreadsheet and establishing how much they are and where they're established. So if it's something that is a fee that's established by city code, an ordinance amendment. Everything else can really be bulk updated with a resolution. This is not only an administrative improvement for city staff, but also a pretty significant improvement to know where everything's at. A work order system, so that is scheduling preventative maintenance, taking requests of maintenance from the public, and then also having some automated workflows with those so it gets let's see, evaluate need for city facility improvements. Just looking at all of our facilities we have, are there any repairs that need to be done? Do we need to consider going to a new location or those type of things? Just kind of a use-based consideration. And then the last general operations item was GIS mapping in public parking areas, snow emergency routes. Those type of items, streets, when those repairs done, what material they are. It's utilities, so we have those paper maps, but getting something that's in a live functional use to where, when Aaron and his team are out and about, if there is a valve that gets exercised, they can mark that and say, and cross that off as something that's been done, so we can have a routine maintenance log with that. It could be hydrant pressures are across town, so you can make a good decision on, should we be making a water main improvement here to get adequate pressure so that we can, meet service demands in that case. But it's also from an economic development perspective, knowing where utilities are located, and that's something the public can engage with, can really help make those economic development conversations a little bit easier. So yeah, there's a bunch of uses for GIS that would also be plugging into other areas, but that's also something that is more of a high cost item and it is more of something we should grow into. Some governance and administration updates. This would not only give us more oversight on time cards and leave requests, but I think it would also be a little more functional for our staff as well. And it makes all of this calculations would automatically happen. So there's different options for that as well. But I think that's something we should be looking at, especially knowing that there's some pretty low cost options there that would one item I have, I guess, discussed with Ben is, looking at, getting proposals for legal services. I just think we're a growing community. We need to look at all of our options there and making sure that other things is a regulatory item, installing an exterior bulletin board at City Hall for public notices. So this last year there was a new bill passed House where we have to have a conspicuous location for public notices that is available to the public for inspection. Currently, we have a to get, and just trying to operate in best practice and making sure that we are doing. Let's see. City Council Rules Guide, the Iowa League of Cities has templates on this stuff. This is more about meeting or meeting structure more efficient, and making sure that we are providing adequate transparency to the public. Happy to have a very engaged public in our meetings, but when it comes to those public forums, I think we do need to have some rules on that. Generally speaking, those are those are times where the public is able to address City Council as a body with some issues that they have, and that City Council can take that into consideration. I just want to make sure that we are conducting our issues to everyone involved. So, but that's generally speaking what that would be. That's a pretty easy one to implement. Capital improvement. One codified location, just to make sure that whenever we know all of our policies that are currently in effect. And what is the current policy that we should be operating off of? Taking a look at our purchasing policy, I think as we continue to grow, as we have more team members involved, we need to make sure that appropriate spending decisions are happening at the appropriate level, and that our staff has the, appropriate power, purchasing authority to do their job effectively. So that's something to look at. Strategic plan, this actually may be a higher priority. This is a general, what are our goals as a community? And I'm not saying in a comprehensive plan manner, but more of and what does it actually mean? So does, being financially strong, does that mean having a clean audit every year? And does it mean knowing the true cost of our services we provide and that we're charging appropriately to cover our costs? Those are the type of things I'm talking about. And those are the values that we use to how we operate as a team to make sure that we can have a scorecard to compare ourselves to. Enough storage of files. I think that's something where we always want to make sure that we have systems in place that we can get the information that we need when we need it, and that it is that's something that's important to do. In the future, it's the next 3 to 5 years, getting a comprehensive plan up. Those priorities that are established there are still remain true to this day. So I don't really see that a whole big update is needed right now. We just did the future land use plan a couple of years ago, but this would be more on those community-wide priorities. I think we need to work the plan a few more years and make some progress there, and then go to the next one. But
Is that something 26, and because if you don't do something like that, it looks like, well, you guys haven't done anything since 2013.
No, I mean, I would like to have a work session, to go over some of the strategic planning potential. And I think that would be more where we would address some of those priorities. that truly are important to us as a community,
Right.
keeping this front of mind. But
Okay.
personnel handbook update, the last, large update was in 2021. I think we just need to do a major analysis of that, making sure that all of our policies that so that's something that would need to get done. With that being said, looking at our performance evaluation process, I'm stepping into a new organization. A lot of, I don't know all of our procedures, but I think that's, as we continue to grow as a community, we need to make sure we have the procedures in place to continue to accommodate that as, staffing grows and things like that. But also, as a city, our most important asset is our employees. That's how we provide all they need to succeed. Part of that is also updating and creating job descriptions as needed. I think just a reevaluation of what we had is in order. Centralizing doing a centralized cloud-based document repository and forms tool. So this would be having essentially cloud-based storage for all of our city documents, and then having forms that also are generated. So think building permits. When those are submitted, they would automatically be filed in that repository, so there's no manual filing being done. But this also it makes retrieving files a lot easier as well. And I think that's something that's a pretty important step to take in the future. Looking at agenda packet publisher automatically generate your packets by hatching all your PDFs, and it pieces it together, and then you can also create minutes in that as well. There's some pretty low-cost options there that I think would make that process updates. There is some compliance that will be due by April 26, 2028 to get, I believe it's the WCAG 2.1 are the requirements we have to come in compliance with. This is local government is the lowest. I think we'll have to looking at. Thankfully, we do have with our current web provider. They are phasing out their current web platform and transitioning us to a new one, which will, part of this will be working to bring us into management. We need to make sure all of our codes are, up to date, not only for administrative use, but for the public's access. Our public needs to know what are the applicable laws to them at this point in time. Thank you. Let's see. I guess online access to where all of our supplemental changes, for example, tonight, we will be able to show that, hey, this ordinance was approved, it's been published, and it'll be included in our next codification. But all of that stuff's online, so people actually know where we're at on our codes. Urgent and emergency over the 4th of July weekend. I'm very proud of how the community came together and handled that situation. But as we think about emergency scenarios, we want to make sure that we have the everything we need at that gets out, and we don't have to be doing a lot of thinking and coordinating to make that happen. One of the last ones here, Economic Development Portal. This is actually in University of Iowa IISC project that I'm working on. I would say it's probably not a super high priority. Program, it is a need, and this would, be consolidating all of the relevant information people who are looking to build in our community or whether it be housing, whether it be a, you know, relevant information for that. With the website update, looking at a .gov domain transition, we're currently on a .org. .gov domains are free through .gov.gov. I think it's something, if it would be something to consider, especially since it'd probably be pretty low cost, if no cost. And that last two things here, standardized utilities reporting form. This is something I discussed with Aaron, and that's looking at having a monthly reporting form that we could put all the operation metrics. So think water production versus water bill to get your water loss. Water as well as what's upcoming, just to make sure that we're not missing anything and that we are in compliance there, as well as those preventative maintenance items, what's been completed of those work orders, what's upcoming, and then knowing the our rates where they need to be to cover our cost. We are legally required to make sure that our enterprise utilities are self-sufficient. So that just gives us a better indicator as we move on. And then lastly, management is an issue, at least in the older part of town here. Maybe some of that's anecdotal, just based off of the crazy rains we've had this year. But monthly customer feedback, stormwater management projects to make sure that we are, not flooding basements and that our streets are, not flooding and that sort of stuff. So again, these are just a draft of my ideas based off of some of the observations I've had. I'm certainly open to, feedback on this, other ideas. Eventually, I would say at the end of my, 90 days for us to start taking action on. Frankly, there's some low-hanging fruit items on here that you'd like to start on earlier. Be happy to do that as well. But I just want to make sure that you guys are, kind of seeing one of the first drafts of this deliverable. But sorry, I spoke at you guys for quite a while on some of these ideas, but do you guys have any feedback, ideas, suggestions, stuff like that?
Yeah. Yep, perfect. Okay. And the second thing is, well, I got to tell you, if you try to make people's water bills any higher, they might revolt. So
it's my job to put an option out there, and I think as a community, those are discussions we need to have.
Yeah.
I think we need to be upfront with what our problems are, and then what all the tools that we have at our disposal to address them. So that's why I'm bringing.
I think this looks great. There's a few things you mentioned that I really like. A strategic plan. We've talked a roadmap of where we're trying to go, I think is crucial, because we can communicate that with the city and get everybody on board with what we're wanting to do, make sure our priorities are aligned and things like that. So anybody else?
I mean, you guys are just, I'll say you guys are kind of just the first line of viewing this. This is something that we need to go in front of staff as, the people who are actually, implementing this and are part of these conversations and process of implementation. So I just want to, make sure that what our priorities should be in the direction we're headed. So, I guess my last question to you guys, anything on here that progress made on?
I think me personally would just have to look through it a little bit more
No,
before I can make that
perfectly
decision for you.
fine. Perfectly fine.
So I know one of the things we've talked about before is a work order system and an electronic timekeeping and leave management. Can you kind of touch briefly on what the hangups we have right now? Because this is something we've talked for a considerable amount of time about doing. Not that it needs to be done in the next 30 days, but what's holding us up on that?
Well, so I think it ultimately makes a decision on the idea of the option of if we were to stick with all encompassing municipal software of our utility building, our accounting software, all of that, payroll, all that together, that's G-Works. So we are on the list to migrate to the cloud version of G-Works. And leave management would be an additional module, meaning additional money. Chrissy, is that correct? Is that incorrect? No.
It's part of the cloud.
Okay, so it's a
migration. It's just they keep pushing us out. We were supposed to be on, I think, in June. Now we're being pushed out at least 3 months.
So it seems like that's, long.
With that program anyway, at that point, so we can use something else for 2 months or 3 months and pay for it. I'm fine with that. It is part of the package though when we do go on the cloud.
Sure. So I think that's the long-term solution. In the meantime, it seems like there's quite a few, being used by some other cities. I'm sure there's other options as well. It sounds like you guys have had prior conversations about this, where, we're talking a few dollars a month per employee to do this. And it would all be clock in, clock out from your phone. You would submit your requests for any kind of leave. We good? Okay. Just want to make sure the tornado running through here. But anyways, there's some low-cost solutions that we could do. I think that's something I could talk with Christy about. That's also going to be taking, implementing that through staff. So if it is something where we're truly looking at a 2 to 3 month implementation of G-Works, here. Do it again, and we might be better off continuing with the process we know is for a couple more months.
Right.
But I'll have to talk with Christy more about that and figure out where.
What software did you guys use?
ERP Pro 9, which is, they all have their bugs. G-Works is a very popular one that you see improvement from one place to another. It's more of a, what are you comfortable with? What is the pricing? And there's such a big learning curve on that. I would about any kind of, software changes, just because, Christy and Karen live out of that software, and the chances of that not going, a change not going well is
before the
Until we retire and then you guys. I think Karen and I are on the same pace. Retirement goes, so.
that's something that I wouldn't recommend. Definitely have some hesitancy about any kind of changes like that. But all right.
Good.
And that's all I
Okay.
have for you guys. I've talked at you long enough, so
Thank you,
thank you.
Cole. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Aaron? Got your back? Oh, isn't that Aaron?
I will take 6A, 6B, I did not put on there, so I will take 6A. I was under the false impression that White Oak and Sycamore was going to become a four-way stop with the street project. We talked about this. So coming back, whoops, I'd like to get that a four-way stop and get signs put up. I know we talked last month or two about not waiving the readings on anything. Major thoroughfare now with the school being open, that if we could come to an agreement and bypass some readings, I'll put them up whenever if it's agreed, but I think this one would be one we probably want.
Big issue is kids have to transfer over from the left side or
Yep.
west side of the road to the east trail to get out to the high school.
Sycamore, Lowell and Sycamore, White Oak and Sycamore, and then the roundabout for. I think Alicia has talked with some, I know there's been some conversations, I think Kirk had mentioned something before he left. As hopefully something at Lowell. I'd like to see something at Lowell for the kids going to the ELC in the elementary school, as well as this way, but if we could do White Oak and to have something to look out for kids.
There's a
across the
lot
board.
of funding available for grants that cover it, so it could potentially be no cost to us for making those school safety crossings.
Project, the school being built, a street like that any of us have ever gone through. Put it in our. Those crosswalk signs and stuff. And
All included, huh?
Included in the project, instead of
Right.
having to come up with funding after a project's been let.
It's probably not typical for a junior high, but does the school provide, or do you know, provide any sort of like crosswalk attendant at all for like middle schools?
I met with
It depends on
Mark
the
and I didn't
school.
talk with
They
him
do
about
not.
We've got about
Teachers that go over to the elementary and they stop parents. Cars when the buses come out. They don't really do any crosswalk.
I'm assuming that they're going to be very vigilant this first month, especially with this new school being open. And fast. Safety.
Previously, I had brought this up, and I'm going to bring it up again to the body right now. I have no problem making that a four-way stop. But White Oak and Windcrest is also a four-way stop. Make White Oak a straight through once you turn off of Sycamore to the east. Because now you're gonna have congestion right there on what is basically 3/4 of a city block.
And there's a lot of kids in that area.
I mean, well, yeah.
Were you
First,
saying not to
3
have
streets
it?
long. We're not gonna have one.
The, on White is a four-way stop as well, and that has never made any sense to me. White Oak is gonna be the main drag into that neighborhood.
You don't think Windcrest is?
Into that part of
He's not proposing to pull that east.
Yeah, that's a full
Say
stop.
after you turn onto White Oak.
Well, this is gonna start getting
Exactly.
congested.
Yeah, there should be one here.
You get into the, I call it growing up here, the old part of town, it's a four-way stop at every intersection.
Yeah.
Right, but this is an intersection within 3/4 of a block of another.
Very young
We're gonna
population.
get through.
Yeah,
Is that's all my only concern.
okay.
I don't care either way, I'll get signs out tomorrow if I'm told to, but just,
So about that stop sign. Anybody?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 447, adding permanent four-way stop signs at the intersection of Sycamore Street and White Oak Lane. First reading.
Second.
Hey, Hall?
Yes.
Trapp?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Motion.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Do we have those signs in stock? Do we have them in stock?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're currently on White Oak Lane.
Aaron, keep in mind that.
That'll publish Thursday.
Yeah, so
next
keep
week.
in mind this has to be published before we can put the stop signs up.
Week from tomorrow, it'll be in the paper.
Technically, you can put them up now, but you can't give anybody access. Can't enforce it.
Love gates be called in and poles will be put up, if nothing else, posts will be put up, I'll put the signs on for it.
There you go.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Last time the body met, we attempted two different readings of, and took a vote on two different readings. The first one was to shut down just the northbound traffic, the east side of the road. Another one was to shut down the east side permanently and leave the west side no parking between the hours of, I believe it was 7 and 3. Does that sound right? And then the conversation just kind of stopped. So is the conversation going to go to, like, no parking at all on either side? Or-
That would be my.
One, what's the width of that road? From corner to curb? Do you know?
20, 30 probably.
30?
20.
Ships I've done, roads that are between 20 and 30, curb to curb, they do enforce no parking on both sides. Based also off of the schools around here, I think the only one that does do bans on both sides is just Madrid that I could. Okay. I don't know. My thoughts are kind of two different ways, I guess. One would be if we did do no parking on one side, we would get super aggressive with the setback. Of how close they could park next to the stop sign. We would somehow track, I guess, if we can track some sort of near misses or incidents that happen, and like within 6 months, if we have a handful of them, we potentially come back. Idea would be to have no parking on both sides in the ordinance, but with the exception of somewhere in there for, we'd have to list out certain exceptions. That we have like a family event or something like that, and then they would get like a 24, 72 hour, some sort of exception that we would need to figure out.
I mean,
If
it's
that
our,
would be-
Some sort of exception exception written into an ordinance.
Is the purpose of this primary concerns with school traffic? Kids.
I believe it was the school that brought the request to us,
Yeah.
correct?
Is that, you know, it's Monday through Friday, you're not gonna have holidays impacted, so if someone has family over for Thanksgiving and they need parking in the street, you're still good to do that. Is that something that, you know, simultaneously accomplishes both, you know, the rest of the residents' concern of being able to have, you know, if they have extra cars for family members over, but also addresses the
The discussion on that went towards like when we have concerts and events at night, you know, you're not really doing anything to prevent kids walking at night across the street.
I mean, it's not going to be perfect, I think, no matter how we put it. I think we just have to look at what's... I mean, off it, you could also say that, like, if there are concerts or night events, there's probably the potential that parents are also going with them to that, or...
Well, we're not gonna have the parking issue out there at the school. On both sides. I know last time it felt like maybe we were kind of just thrown at us and we didn't know how to react. You know, we can make the signs say whatever you want if you want to go with parking on one side, you know, no parking on the other. I think we just have to. If I want no parking period, or I'm okay with one side or not. I think it's a tough conversation to have, but we just have to have it.
Was the school's request no parking on either side, or was it just address something?
Through, I believe, again, those are just people's opinions. You guys are the ones that make the decision, so.
Joe's got a comment, and Alicia's got a comment.
This last weekend, we dealt with the parking on there, or maybe 2
141 sale.
141 drive sale days. And I was driving down it, and I did pass them, but the and those buses coming, the parents going the other way.
I've done this research before with trails when we were looking at extending and looking at safety crossings for school crossings. But there is a program where we can request a free traffic engineering assistance going to the school and provide an official safety recommendation report. The city of Granger has to apply for that and request that. I don't know how long it's backed up or how long it will take, but it is a which I think would be very beneficial to you guys.
I mean, I don't necessarily, I appreciate the resource, but also I think it just comes down to me to make a decision. But ultimately, we just have to make a decision on something. And is there any kind of consensus that, or maybe it would be helpful if each one of you said what you would be councilman with no real clear feedback at what everyone was looking for. So, I mean, do you guys have anything in mind? Would you your thoughts?
I think I was pretty vocal last time. I think it achieves the goals if we shut down parking from 7 to 5.
Again, you can change the time, right? If they just paint whatever you want or whatever you
Yeah.
guys said. Okay?
But I think also to specify that is only during apply. And then I think the extra step would be if there's an instance of a project or construction on a home, being able to do some sort of permitted traffic is gonna be, what, 7 to 8:15, and then 3:30 to 4:30. So I think if we could not during bus hours, potentially, to avoid that situation where we've got cars passing and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think that makes the most sense.
Because it used to be that way. And then we just had, but we changed it because it's, people forget, they don't stop for half the year because they weren't up. You know, if it's not a safety issue, then we can do whatever we want to, but the school's asking for it. I mean, the reason we paved the road is because there's gonna be a lot more traffic on it. We could have kept it gravel and not done anything, but it's gonna be a lot more. The whole works, so.
A couple things here. Sycamore is going to be our primary, you know, North Street, and I think it's realistic that only is also that when it comes to, you know, traffic and I guess parking enforcement, really the name of the game is consistency and simplicity. I park here, it's a yes or no, not do I have to, is it sunny out today? Is it easy to comply with what our regulations are, and that we're not putting too many like unnecessary barriers into enforcement, just from, you know, Joe and our police department's perspective. Genuinely want to, you know, be, you know, good citizens, trying to do their part in making sure our streets are safe, and I think making it so it's a, you know, fairly simple thing to follow is.
Comment in response to that in regards to consistency is we have 3 schools in town, but we're only talking about parking regulations for 1. So, and the other 2 have younger kids. You do. So if we're going to put something in place for Sycamore, I think we need to potentially look at other parking restrictions as well around the other 2.
We have done stuff.
We have?
Yeah, because we have the. You know, that was a addition.
I don't think you get any pushback from the school if you made Oak Street from State all the way up to Vista View, no parking on either side. The school would applaud you for that.
At least one way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to pick up my kid before, or just watching kids ride their bikes, and and with the parking on Vista View, I mean, that's an accident waiting.
There 3 times.
Huh?
I've almost been hit there 3 times.
Well, I mean, there's vehicles that sit up there that don't move. I mean, and then, to me, that's what I mean, and you've got, I've seen a truck with a giant enclosed trailer parked there for days. I've seen a truck with a massive. It's 1 lane. So if I am all for safety for the kids, but we need to address.
So do you guys have any recommendation of
If we
what
don't,
we're
we
willing to consider at the next meeting? Joe, I hate to or what is your stance on this?
I would like no parking on both sides.
Aaron? I met with Mark Lane, superintendent. Since I also started on this, but, you know, believe, I guess, the 3 properties that are on as well. So, I mean, it's not like there's a unreasonable shortage of, you know, parking in that we're trying to address public safety here. So like, that's.
Every day. Okay.
That's, well, it's whatever. If they decide to take action, they do. If not, there's nothing.
Lawn services, contractors, all that. Okay. Somebody will move, I think.
You guys have direction what to bring back to the next city council meeting? That's, we're trying.
Yeah, which way is everybody leaning?
I'm in the camp of no parking on either side as long as there's a school activity going on. Whether that be a concert going on or during Thanksgiving when nobody's at the school. Obviously, you're gonna have family over. That makes sense to me. I mean, there's a lot of leniency through town on holidays. I've seen it, I've witnessed it.
I just wanted at least to know that if we were doing something on our house, there would be, or lawn care when they come and they spray, or like I said, something happens, I have parents that are not doing well. Fine, and I do believe in the kids' safety because I would be sitting at that corner when school starts because I am scared to death of that traffic on that street and how fast people speed. It's been that way for 20 years. I am worried. I just wanted 7 to 5 even. And I could play into it. I don't know. It's fine. It's going to be 365 days a year, and that's fine.
It's not.
I guess I still.
I mean, I can't do anything
Well,
about the decision.
we haven't taken any action.
guess
There's
I
no
still-
votes
yeah.
been taken or anything like
It's
that.
easy to make a law that doesn't have.
I can still have an exception process through City Hall,
I don't like to get messy though.
where they could just, if, you know, they could get some sort of temporary access if a contractor was coming in, they could just call City Hall.
I don't see really a problem with the exclusion process. Construction project, that
Right.
makes sense.
What if I want somebody to come in my yard? I have that every week.
Stranger.
And that I do not agree with.
But I can't put a
do
pickup
that
truck
because we
with
set
a
up our-
trailer on
yeah.
it, with a mower on the back for a guy to mow my yard.
I have a
In my
30-foot
driveway,
boat and
for God's
a
sake.
crew cab long box pickup, and my driveway is shorter than yours, and I get it in my driveway.
Deal with that. I just wanted 7, at least the Monday through Friday thing. And I don't disagree with you on our driveways, because I worked it today. I was like, what can't we get in? Because we don't have the sidewalk issue.
Okay, there's,
We're good, I mean.
moving on to next month, I guess.
Well,
just
does
email
everybody
it.
have their
Have we
input of
haven't
what they
reached
want?
an agreement, or
I don't think everybody answered.
we haven't given him direction on what we want to do.
I mean, You could do hours of 7 to 5.
We already struck them
That's
down.
fine.
We already took a vote on that. So,
I say no parking on both sides. And then in the future, as things continue to develop, probably get more traffic through there, that's maybe a point of. If it's something we could try to work with our residents, that's great, but we also need to make sure we are addressing our critical concern, which is public safety of kids going to school.
It is, so now you're parking in the dark.
There are streetlights in front of our house.
There's streetlights there.
There didn't used to be, there are now.
Okay.
There's the one by Deputies, now you had that one today. The one.
It was down for about a year.
I'm usually in bed before, like.
Yeah, we have lights.
On either side, outside of that, in the summer, I care less if you park on the side of the road.
It's a one-off issue.
You know, or even you could do holiday.
Just try it out.
Right.
If you're doing Monday through Friday, bring school, just do no parking either side, whatever. All
We do that and then have the hours be from like 7:30 to 8:30 or from 7 to 8:30 and then from 3 to 4:30?
I guess I feel like
Yeah, it gets run over because we're debating this for 3 months in a row.
Yep.
We're all gonna be very disappointed in ourselves.
I was scared for 10 years.
Talk about the speeding, the high rate of speeds in and out of town, but we don't want to.
I guess I just don't see the problem with doing no parking on both sides and just have that exception process where they can just call in.
Are you guys-
Makes it-
Needs no parking both sides on Sycamore, and then we create some kind of exclusion, like permitting process to be able to get
one-off situations where they need to park there. I feel like that makes the most sense.
You know, a lot of mowing companies will put the flashers.
South around the corner.
Yeah.
There's parking available on White.
So if we brought no parking,
Say it again.
of passing that.
I would if we had an exception process, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
I would rather do that than have.
Then we'll work on that.
I've already got it drafted for last month. I'll update it for next month.
Perfect, thank you.
I was able to attend the DARE conference a couple weeks ago. DARE. We're prepared to get back into school. Kids are starting, school traffic's going to be starting in a week and a half.
Nope.
Joe, I got one quick question for you. So we're seeing a lot of communities around us put ordinances and laws into effect for scooters and to that, talking about an incident that he had had. Have you looked into anything like that for our town, or?
A lot of different towns are getting different ordinances, and the bikes that are, the mobile bikes already have state laws. There's already state laws on those, that they're not supposed to go over like 19, they're not supposed to be over 7. I think I would like to try like education,
Yes.
getting through the school and doing some classes with them and let them know, hey, this is just like a bike. You have to stop at stop signs, otherwise you can't get a ticket.
Have you guys had any incidents where you're seeing kids blow stop signs?
Adults that ride the bikes too.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, so we can't just point out the kids.
No, okay, any e-bike or scooter? or
Yeah, I've
anything?
seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, I definitely have. But I think most of them, when they educating them, like, hey, here's the, you know, it's $295 for a stop sign. You want to keep doing that, that's a lot of chores.
Yeah.
So I would definitely. Ordinances in other cities are really working. I see them all over. And the kids have got those little, they're like bikes, but they have no pedals.
Mhm.
They're not even allowed. Those are against the law. That's pretty much a motorcycle.
Okay.
And I've caught 2 on them, and I've told them, you don't have.
What about the conversation you and I had, Clint?
Which one?
About like the $10 for, you made it through the safety class, and then you get one warning after that, it's a $200 fine.
It's
and
hammer
we're
time.
Yeah, and just,
I mean, I think if it gets to the point where have at it. I yell at my kids, I yell at my kids' friends. I mean, I believe in, you know, the village mentality, and if we're not gonna parent our kids and quit believing that they are following those, like I said, I see as many adults. I'm pulling up the 4-way and I'm getting ready to go, an adult on a bicycle. Gets to that point, I'd rather be hardcore with it than, you know, you gotta set precedents with something. You can't just, hey, Joe, you're gonna waste your time talking to these kids again and warning them. It's just crackdown. So let's get through this fall. Flying, I mean, in middle school, you're gonna have probably 100 scooters at least sitting out there. So we'll see what happens. So educate them up. Use your stern voice.
Cities that had an ordinance in place yet, very few in fact.
Right.
Now, you know, the other night on the news, there was like 4 different cities that were having hearings on putting in an ordinance like that, so it's, if you want to go out there and look, there's now ones out there that you
Yeah.
can pretty easily find and see how other cities are dealing with it.
That seemed pretty.
That one's a pretty good one, yeah.
I thought pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like far out and whatever, you can drive on the sidewalk with your scooter and, you know, don't go over 25 miles an hour, which those don't, but. Turning out of the church and a girl was coming down the wrong way on the street. And as I was looking for traffic and turned, and it could have changed both of our lives in a hurry. Luckily I stopped and she was like, oh, sorry, like, but that's what. It's okay, it's education, and I'm more in the camp now that we need to have something in place and use that as education of, you know, here's where you can drive your scooter, here's where you can't. Called that are bigger, you know, those need to be on the street. You need to have a motorcycle license and the whole work, so. Yeah, they need a little bell, because that freaks me out too.
I saw it the other day. Sweet.
Firefighter 1 hazmat class. They will be finishing up the hazmat portion by the end of the month, so that'll be good for them. We were awarded 8 sets of turnout gear through the Iowa Firefighters Association, so it's a program where we can turn in their certifications. We purchased the December, they have to have joined the department from December of 2024 to, I believe, December. The fundings are gone, so we'll keep applying for that as we get people through the class. For $21,930 for turnout here as well. So some great things happening. We did have some folks take water rescue class for our the jet ski is not in service yet. We've got a couple things left to do, more training, and once that's done, it'll be in service.
You have the trailer and everything too, right?
Yep. The fire and EMS department, just what does the future look like for the next 3 to 5 years? So, trying to develop a plan going forward with that. So, Chief.
I will go over some of the things we did in July. We did for our training monthly. To go over her pump and some symptoms and things that she recognizes, what her family recognizes, and how we can help her. It was a great opportunity. Then we had a small group of EMS. Athletic trainer on football injuries, backboarding, helmet removal, pad removal, and what would our role be once we provide EMS coverage for the home football games. Our calls for ambulance and fire, we had all 31 had response. I had one call that we only had an EMT and we did not have a driver, so Dallas County had to take that patient. Outside of that, we're doing
the action to approve.
Oh, I forgot about that. So our new Life Pack and our Lucas device, if you go back when we had the Life Pack 15, the maintenance care or hopefully get the grant. We haven't had a maintenance plan for a while, but I was looking into a maintenance plan through them, and incidentally, our Lucas was broken, which is the chest compression thing. It wasn't doing a full charge. So, option for our maintenance plan to cover our Life Pack 35, which is like $50,000 device, and our Lucas, I believe, is around the $16,000 device. For over the next 4 years, it would be $3,800 per year for 4 years. And with the Lucas being broken, if we do not have the coverage, it will.
Is it more of a warranty or like a yearly, they check it out?
It's maintenance coverage, yeah. So they'll come and fix everything if we have a problem. I think he comes in and does like a check on yearly. Case change, maintenance inspections, and there's even like a battery
as a one-on-one swap.
So more than just a, if it breaks, they'll repair.
Problems shoot over the phone, sent him multiple videos, and then he noticed what was wrong with the videos, and he's like, okay, well, this is what we can do. In the meantime, I took a battery to Polk City. While ours is ready to be shipped off for repair if we sign this contract. Otherwise, he'll fix it and it'll cost us the $1,000. How old is my Lucas? I am not sure how old it is, but he said it's the newer model. So it does not need replaced yet.
Yeah, what would the lifespan be? I mean, you're looking at 16 grand compared a year,
Yep,
or the 1,040 right now just to fix it, or?
correct.
Well, that's the question. If 1,040 gets the piece of equipment working for the next 7 years, because it's 7 years old already.
That's the question, is lifespan of it, right?
Yeah.
Of that is, I can get back to you and find out how old it is, but that would be a grant opportunity for me to look into replacing the Lucas at time when it is ready. But
It also covers the, or anything like that goes out, and I'm sure it's a high cost, so I do find value in the maintenance plan.
And the life pack's new, right?
it is now.
Yeah.
Back is a year, so that first year will be in December.
Gotta love the medical field, huh?
Everything's expensive.
Right. Your guys' thoughts?
It's a piece of equipment that's only $1,000
No,
to
it's
fix
only-
it right now.
It's only 39 for the next 4 years, or
What?
3,800 for the next 4 years.
Yeah, it's each year.
Each year.
That's each year?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I would need more information before I can make that decision. Things like that, so we kind of have a better idea of, yeah, it's $1,000 right now, but what are we looking at for long-term?
Do we have a line item in your guys' budget that would take care of the $1,000?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can cover it in our budget.
Okay.
And then possibly look for a grant for possibly a new one, or how does that work?
Well,
Loaner, like, is there a,
I told him that I had to bring it to council, so I have to follow up with him.
Yeah.
I mean, the quote was valid through, from June 11th through July 11th, so he's already extended the quote if he's willing to go with it. So.
I think we pay the $1,040 and fix it.
Yeah, I agree.
Are there-
$16,000 to somewhat insure the life pack in Lucas over the next 4 years.
Are there other plans out there that would be more comprehensive to our needs, that would cover more pieces of apparatus that you guys use?
I would have to figure out how to even look into that. I did check with Dallas County, theirs is $100,000 a year, but they cover, I think, 4 different ambulances, the striker cot, multiple.
I heard at least 3 people say they'd rather take a chance at the coin flip.
Yeah, get the charging port fixed, and we'll take a more look when we have more comprehensive information.
Cycle of the
No,
life
it's
pack
not-
normally.
It's not even 11 months, it's only 8 months.
For 8 months, okay.
Yeah.
So you want to know how old it is and then the lifespan of a.
Typical lifespan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I would say that the part that, or the Lucas that's broken, what it would cost? Like you mentioned, maybe grants, if there's something out there. How old is that?
The Lucas,
Yeah.
that's what we're still under the original warranty, but.
Right, I hope that would make it 4 years. So do they just need to read this then as the
No action.
1,000,
No
no action?
Yeah.
Well, they still want to pay the theft. Can you just?
They've got it on their budget.
Buddy? Okay, Alicia.
Okay, so Partners of the Park is now active again, and that is our sister nonprofit group. Operates completely separate, but under the guidance. They would like to provide to us at no cost and install a shade system structure over the seating area right in front of the playground at Centennial Park. They would like to put this in before Ranger Days.
They're really cool. Yeah.
So,
The fact that it's movable and all that stuff. Seen a lot of, can you move that at all?
Question that this specific model, like you just get in there with like tractor forks and pick it up and move it.
Right.
It's like a concrete base.
Right,
that-
that's what I, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
There are ones that are like a in-ground installation you have to.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the same material that you see at like ball fields and parks and whatever. So,
so like our memorial benches that we do, it's on a concrete base, but we can move it whenever we need to.
Yeah.
But they're not installing it.
In the park, yes. They're covering the lands.
With
Yeah.
installation costs
Oh, they're gonna pay
excluded.
that?
As I understand, it comes fully built, there's no installation because you just drop it and go, it's on a concrete base.
I like it.
Yeah. Everybody
Proving
good
a
with the free
donation.
structure?
So,
Unless you want to pay
of it in the park will be covered by Partners of the Park. There. I will reword that a little better. But I do have to get permission from you because this is city property. And
Everyone good?
Yep.
Make a motion to approve the donation of the shade system for Centennial Park from Partners of the Park with installation costs included.
Second.
Schreier?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Got one library item here. Put Angela Parks back on that. If anyone's got questions about that. Okay.
$20.32.
Second.
Okay, Hall?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Schreier?
Yes.
Excitement has built. Ranger Days.
Yeah, I'm just running down the schedule of events, and I have a list of all our sponsors in there, so you can take a look at. Ranger Days, I believe, it's around 34,000.
Wow.
We were what, 31 last year, 32?
It was closer. So I was very impressed by these businesses that have come out and again, been a sponsor for Ranger Days. So I hope everybody can show up.
Try to get
That's out here. No. And we did put a sign-up sheet out there, so if anybody can come and help volunteer to, trash is one of our biggest things. I know it's not a fun job, but it is. You know, having fun, so it'd be nice if we can get a little bit of help with that out there. I know I've got a couple people lined up, but it's a big job, I'll tell you that, so. Let me know, or want to get in the parade, let me know, so. hope you can join us.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, who's doing it?
Not me.
No, you got it, Tyson?
I guess.
Okay.
All right, the finance committee met.
Still that paper.
It's reviewed the bills of payment, including utility bills that have already been paid for the prior month of July, and finds the following in order: invoices, purchase orders, claims list. There was no bond payment due. It's reviewed utility delinquencies for the prior month of July, finds the following in order in the delinquency list. It's reviewed the balance sheets and bank reconciliation for the prior month of July and finds the following in order: bank statement reconciliation, balance sheets, outstanding checks, bank statements, voided checks, and journal entries. And we also reviewed the budget report. Reviewed the timesheets for the prior month of July 2026, finds the following in order. Timesheets are good. And there was one comment or request from the committee, and that is asking a question of why
So there was an invoice for $400 some for an oil change, cab filter and everything on one of the Dodge Rams, but one of them is gone and the other one has been sitting out there for sale, so. Guess I didn't know why.
Did they do that before they were listing it for sale?
It was
July 28th.
listed.
Yeah, I think we've listed them in June, May or June.
That's why I was
Yeah.
curious.
Well, because it goes, 6 months since the last one, they probably just, so the records were in order, I'm guessing. Aaron would have to speak to that, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my assumption.
Yeah, the $415 for oil change, replaced filters.
Okay, so that's a question for Aaron?
Yep.
Okay.
Chalk?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Triumph?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
And Boss?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve bills for payment?
Second.
Okay, Chichak?
Yes.
For me, I spoke my mind on what I got, received about Ironwood down the street. You guys got any correspondence?
I don't think so.
Okay, meeting adjourned.